Today I want to talk about the movie The Matrix. I still remember when I first saw this movie in theaters. I was so young and this movie had me hypnotized. I was absolutely one of those people who, after watching The Matrix, literally believed that's exactly how the world was. Around that same vein, I'd watch a horror movie with some murderer, and after seeing the movie, I believed that that murderer was in my town, specifically in my yard, waiting for me to go to sleep. But The Matrix, even today, still holds up as one of the best films ever made. At the time, the story was so original. The impact on the culture is inexplicable. Even now, though, rewatching it 20 years later, after all the tropes and after every movie since The Matrix has stolen things that it kind of inserted into the mainstream culture, slow motion and bullet time and better fighting sequences, it still holds up. It still represents kind of that moment in the recent history where movies shifted in how they wanted to portray story. Funny thing about The Matrix, it has such a huge anime influence, and I'm really not an anime fan. And I'm not really a Kung Fu fan. I really don't pay attention to those. But something about The Matrix, how they kind of molded the live action with their anime influence and their like fighting sequences, it was incredible. Even as someone who's not a huge fan of that stuff, I remember as a kid loving it. Really no comparison to the impact that The Matrix specifically had on not only me, but like everyone who ever saw it. People still talk about it today. Now, obviously, there's going to be people who can go through it and nitpick over the last 20 years about why this is this or why that doesn't make any sense. But honestly, the story was so good and the actors in the movie are so good. Perfect choices. Lawrence Fishburne, perfect. Keanu Reeves, perfect. You can't imagine other actors in these roles. I remember seeing an interview online of Will Smith saying he was originally going to be cast as Neo in The Matrix, but he ultimately turned it down. And I think that would have been cool, but honestly, in hindsight, I don't know if he could have done it. He's a great actor, but Keanu Reeves in that role at that time, Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus at that time, perfect casting, perfect movie, excellent story. Please go see The Matrix. I still talk about it with people today.